From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Ksenia Lukic.
And over the weekend, a royal wedding took place.
Oh, very royal.
At least the kind of royal wedding that I can really get behind, which is between two hot, famous people, which is Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco had a very star-studded wedding. And we're going to get into all the romantic details because there were so many, plus a whole bunch of drama because poor Selena Gomez is always a lightning rod for drama. So we're going to get into that. But first, another exciting event over the weekend.
Yes. Meryl Streep.
Yes. So Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci at the Dolce & Gabbana show in Milan, they walked in dressed head to toe as their characters from The Devil Wears Prada. And it's been confirmed that they were there filming scenes for the upcoming sequel to The Devil Wears Prada. So they were in full character. So that already caused a stir. Watching them, they came in a little bit late. They walked in and sat front row. And Meryl Streep was in full Miranda Priestly, glaring, don't talk to me, don't look at me mode, which is so different to her normal public persona.
And also people were cheering when they walked in.
I would cheer too.
It was a huge thing when they came in. And it was so funny because, you know, Meryl, she was in full character, was very method.
Yeah. And also the fact that people in the audience were cheering and like anything that will warm the cold, dead hearts of like high fashion people. I think that's like the magic of Devil Wears Prada. So that happened and those videos started going viral. But then Anna Wintour herself was also at the show and there's videos of her and Meryl Streep hugging and embracing each other. And Vogue put up the video with the caption, "Is that how you spell Gabbana?" which is a very iconic line that Anne Hathaway's character says in the movie. And if you listen to the video, it's so funny because Meryl Streep's going to Anna Wintour, "You look beautiful, you look beautiful. This is my first fashion show." So she dropped the Miranda Priestly as soon as she saw Anna Wintour.
I was actually so surprised to hear that she said, "This is my first ever fashion show."
I don't think it is, to be honest. I feel like I've seen pictures of Meryl Streep at fashion shows. What she probably meant was it was like her first really big fashion show and they're so just like a nothing kind of thing to her that maybe she's gone to one or two but she just doesn't remember in her busy life.
Yeah, I'm also curious where they put the filming cameras for the show itself because I didn't see any like set stuff around the show.
I don't think it was like a set piece from the movie with like dialogue or anything. I think there were cameras just in the back and they were just getting like a bit of coverage. Yeah. It might not even make the movie, but it'll probably just be a scene that's like looped in with the rest of the movie. And instead of doing a whole fashion show, they just filmed it one. So like everyone in the background is an actual fashion person, which is very Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah. And what I also loved about this is, you know, that kind of art imitating life. And a lot of people got really excited about Anna and Meryl quote unquote meeting for the first time.
Yeah, they've met many times before.
We know that that's not true, right?
It's so funny because in the whole history of The Devil Wears Prada, the book, Meryl Streep has always been like very team Anna Wintour, which I've always found interesting because she's not usually someone who like weighs in on drama or picks a side. She's always very much like, I'm just an actor. I'm a creative person. She never gets involved in Hollywood drama. But obviously the Devil Wears Prada book was written by Lauren Weisberger, who worked with Anna Wintour for only a couple of months, I think maybe even half a year at Vogue, and then had quite a bad experience. And as soon as she left, she started pitching this book, Devil Wears Prada. And of course, like every publishing house instantly wanted it. And the issue was that they said to her, "Yes, but we need the draft in like 6 months." So she speed wrote it, sent it in, and she's since expressed a lot of regret that she didn't have a lot of time to work on the book. She didn't mean to paint Anna Wintour in such a bad light. She meant to make it more of a character study. And she just got absolutely blasted by people for writing that book. And then Anna Wintour came out kind of the hero of it all because then it introduced her to the wider public. And she was so in on the joke. Like she turned up to the Devil Wears Prada movie premiere in head to toe Prada and said like, "Yeah, it's all fair. I'm here to support."
Yeah, I kind of like that she kind of took the joke, but there is a lot of truth to these sort of satirical pieces. And at the end of the day, the book is a satirical piece on working in magazines. And I've had experience of, you know, magazine culture, and there is like a lot of tension and, you know, bitchiness and behind the scenes kind of tension. And it's well known that Anna Wintour demands perfection.
Yes.
So yes, this can be a heightened version, and Anna Wintour's in on the joke.
Yes, I don't think Lauren Weisberger, who in her defense, like, yeah, The Devil Wears Prada, it's one of the few things where the movie is 10 times better than the book in every way. But her other novels are quite good. I've read a lot of them because they're like really good beach reads. And she was never saying that the culture of Vogue was not like what she painted in the book or Anna Wintour. It's just that she didn't sort of do it in an interesting way or a smart way, and she wishes there were things she could add in and take back, which I feel as anyone who wrote a book in 6 months about one of the most powerful women in the world and then had to deal with the fallout for years and years and years. But it's just funny because the whole time that Meryl Streep was filming The Devil Wears Prada, she was really adamant that she wasn't basing anything on Anna Wintour. She actually based her character on Clint Eastwood and his kind of, and his like that, the kind of iconic character he does in so many movies that really like steely, doesn't say anything. All that sort of stuff. And then I couldn't find this quote anywhere. I think it's been scrubbed from the internet, but I do remember watching her in an interview for Devil Wears Prada years ago, and they asked her about Lauren writing the book. And Meryl Streep like said some nice things about her, but she also went very heavy on supporting Anna Wintour. And then she said, I think that maybe she should have spent more time learning from Anna Wintour than writing books about her.
Ooh.
But also, I can't verify that because I went to double check that quote today and I remember it so well and I can't find it anywhere.
Okay, this is like another Mandela effect moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I do believe it happened. In some, it's just been buried under like the Devil Wears Prada machine and the Anna Wintour machine. But yeah, kind of interesting how people were looking at that video and people were sharing it, and it's like these two are like in cahoots together. They have an unholy alliance where they like support each other in such an intense way.
I mean, needless to say, the marketing around this second movie has been absolutely stellar because we've been talking about it a lot because this just makes me more excited for it. Seeing moments like this makes me so much more excited for the movie.
Yes, me too. Well, it's coming out next year, so I'm just like, every time I see them filming, I'm like, guys, go faster. You're not leaving your time. I'm stressed about the production schedule of Devil Wears Prada. Like I've added that to my list of things to stress about this year, about their time frame. But yeah, I'm so excited.
So the much anticipated wedding of Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco took place over the weekend in Santa Barbara. And like you said, it is very much a royal wedding. I have been so excited for this wedding, and Selena released images on her Instagram and my face like dropped to the floor because of how beautiful it looked.
Yeah, it looked very beautiful and romantic and very her. I think there was so much kind of build up of what kind of dress she would wear, but she never really goes like even on red carpets the full kind of ball gown, but then she does seem like a bit of a romancy princessy kind of girl on the inside, which I love. So I did expect like maybe she would do the big ball gown, but it was more of like this beautiful, just like kind of simple, very classic Ralph Lauren gown with that classic kind of bob that she wears a lot on red carpets, and just looked very chic.
Yeah, so she wore 2 gowns by Ralph Lauren. So reportedly down the aisle she wore a lace gown by Ralph Lauren Custom. And then a lot of the photos that we see on her Instagram are her in that second gown, which is the halter neck with the low back, kind of silky, flowy. The photos just looked really, really romantic. And she had that Lily of the Valley bouquet as well. Benny Blanco also wore Ralph Lauren. And there were a lot of stars at this particular wedding, which we would expect.
Yes, it was a star-studded event. Meryl Streep, there was lots of headlines leading into it that she didn't go.
Well, this was like I was so excited that we talked about Meryl Streep because I think the reason she wasn't there with Martin Short was because she was obviously in Milan shooting. She
had a conflict. And even Selena Gomez's wedding couldn't take her off the Devil Wears Prada shooting schedule because, as we said, it's tight. It's a tight turnaround. And also maybe she was like, oh, everyone heard like all the lip readers were out in force at the Emmys trying to put her and Martin Short's relationship together. So maybe she was also like, oh, if I go, it'll be a circus. So I'll just bow out.
I love that. But so we do know a couple of details. We've got Martin Short and Steve Martin, who are obviously her Only Murders in the Building co-stars, did actually do a bit of a speech at the rehearsal dinner the night before. There are a bunch of photos of them sort of walking to the rehearsal dinner in California. And Paul Rudd was there. We had Taylor Swift who was there, Ed Sheeran. Now we know Tay-Tay and Selena are besties. And Taylor actually did do a speech at the actual wedding as well. So it's a pretty like big – can you imagine like Steve Martin and Martin Short and Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran all making speeches at your own wedding.
Yeah, I guess very fitting for someone who's been in Hollywood since she was like a tiny child. But yeah, I would have loved to hear the Steve and Martin toast, especially because the whole shtick they have with Selena is that she teaches them all this kind of like modern slang and social media stuff. And then they kind of like rip on her behind the scenes. Like they're her two uncles who at first were like, who is this man who you're dating? And so I think their speech would have been super funny. It sounds like the rehearsal dinner was just, it kind of felt like it would have been like it being at the Emmys or the Golden Globes. It was just a parade of stars giving speeches. So Martin Short and Steve Martin gave their toast, and then Taylor Swift gave a toast, and Ed Sheeran gave a toast, and that's just what we know so far. But there were so many other celebs there. Paris Hilton was there. Yep. I love how Paris Hilton is like on everyone's wedding guest list. Like Britney Spears gets married, she's there. Selena Gomez gets married, she's there. Like she's on everyone's list.
I feel like she would kind of have to be at the top of everyone's list. I'd want Paris Hilton at my wedding.
Yeah, she seems like a good vibe.
Actually, maybe not. She'd take all the attention away.
She'd want to DJ, and apparently she's quite a good DJ, but there's a lot of she gets a lot of backlash, and then she goes up on stage and kind of likes to call people out for judging her, and that's the kind of drama I think you'd want at a wedding.
Yeah. Speaking of DJs, Mark Ronson DJ'd the reception.
Oh, so Paris had some competition.
So obviously Paris wasn't invited to DJ. It looked like such a beautiful wedding. Betty Blanco on his Instagram called Selena a real life Disney princess.
And that's just factual because she was a Disney kid.
Well, yeah.
That's just a factual statement from that man, which I quite like.
Yeah. I think for me, like I don't know why I got so excited about it. I've always really liked their relationship, even in the beginning when people were being a bit critical, being like Betty Blanco was kind of quote unquote beneath her and they were being quite cruel. But there was always something that I saw between them that I was like, they just look really, really happy. And then looking at all the photos and, you know, the behind the scenes and the pictures they put up and the video, they look so loved up, and I just really loved it.
Yeah, it's interesting with like Selena Gomez. It's kind of like she's the generation under Jennifer Aniston who always had that like poor Selena tag. Like she's never going to find love. She's never going to get married. And while that conversation was happening, I'm like, the woman just turned 30. Like give her a sec.
Yeah.
You know, and also like she might never get married and that's also fine. But it was this whole thing of people started like pitting her for never being married when she was like 27 and becoming a billionaire with her company and like acting in TV shows and movies. So I think that's also why people have this really intense parasocial relationship to her wedding, and so many people were getting really emotional over the photos, is they felt like they'd been through this big dramatic thing with her, which I guess they had. Like she's had a lot of, because she's been famous so long and she was so young when she got this huge fame, that people have seen her go through these really intense moments of heartbreak. So I think when you see that, it makes you appreciate the wedding photos a bit more.
Yeah, and I wasn't even like, I didn't watch Wizards of Waverly Place. Like I never really tracked her when she was younger. And even with her relationship with Justin Bieber, that wasn't like, I didn't track that so much either. Obviously it was on my radar, but it was the wedding. I don't know. It was just something about these two that just like hits me right in my heartstrings. A couple of other details that we've got. So the guest stayed at the El Encanto Hotel in California, and apparently it was $3,500 a night.
I definitely think that the billionaire was footing the bill for the entire wedding. She probably flew everyone there as well. Except potentially Taylor Swift who flew herself there in her own private jet and was trying so hard to not be the center of attention that when she got off the jet, and she wasn't even like a public space, but there were so many cameras that there were about 50 men with umbrellas. It was like watching the opening scene from like Singing in the Rain. Like all these people with umbrellas rushed in to cover Taylor Swift getting off the plane. And normally she wouldn't care, but I think she was trying so hard not to make it all about her and people trying to zoom in her ring and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. So do we know if Travis went? Because I know he had a game the next day. I don't think he went because I didn't see any photos of him. But I know that Taylor, I think, went to a Chiefs game the following day or day after. So maybe there was like a bit of conflict there. But one of the other things I noticed, so they put up a lot of security. There was a lot around this event. Guests apparently did not know where the venue was right up until they were picked up from the hotel and taken to the venue. Now, I think this is obviously because when the invitations went out, there were speculations that there were details that were leaked. So someone from the guest list had leaked details and they had to move things around and increase security around the event, which seems like a very stressful thing to have to do.
Yeah, I think it's become pretty par for the course at the moment with celebrity weddings in particular because they're still the biggest. There's so many paparazzi photos. Like paparazzi used to be able to sell like a photo of Selena Gomez going into a restaurant, and they still do, but like because people post on their own socials, like celebs post their own outfits, their own events, that sort of thing, like the currency and the market for that has died down. But a first look at a wedding photo before she posts it would have got so much money. So I think it's become pretty standard that a lot of celebs don't even tell their guests where they're going. And also, I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I feel like it's true that a lot of celebs also book decoy venues for their weddings. Like that's the story with Taylor Swift at the moment. Every time there's been a few stories at the moment of brides in different like American locations saying that they've got a call from their venue, and a lot of them are like on Sunday the 13th or Saturday the 13th or like a 13th date that people thought that Taylor would like, saying, can we buy you out of your venue and we'll pay for you to have it a different time. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I feel like with a Taylor Swift, you would almost have to have a decoy wedding venue. So with Selena Gomez, she also had everything, like the guests got there and they were all in tents and there were like big marquees up, there were like coverage, there were all these like, there was so much trying to block it. And that's because, do you see those videos? The sky above the venue, because obviously they found out where it
covered
was, covered in helicopters with paparazzi dangling out of the helicopters with long angle lenses. It is crazy. And
they got nothing. Have you seen those pap images?
She's so smart. It's so good. I love it.
I loved it because I was looking at the pap images to kind of see if there was anything. You could see nothing. All you could see were like trucks, maybe some like caterers. There was absolutely nothing there.
Yeah.
So they did a very good job of that.
Yes.
And the first glimpse that we got into the wedding was Selena posting on her Instagram.
Exactly. I actually love for her that she outsmarted the paparazzi in this sense, because even the walkways between the different tents and the marquees were covered. So she's like, I'm not giving you people even one opportunity to pap me or my guests outside. And it's so funny because all those videos came from the locals who live in that area, and they were posting videos to social. They're all the videos that have gone viral, being like, this is so crazy. Like the air above our houses is full of helicopters, and they're just all trying to get to the Selena Gomez wedding.
Can you imagine how loud that would be? You'd be just sitting at home, and like, I hate the sound of a helicopter over my head. Like anytime a helicopter flies by, I'm always like, this is so annoying. Can you imagine being
hours
in that
of
area?
That, yeah.
And just for hours, you'd be like, God damn you, Selena Gomez.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the end of the day, even all their long angle cameras got nothing. But again, I feel like even in Australia, I know we don't have this paparazzi culture here as much, but celebrity weddings is where they get so intense. Like Tammy Hembrow's wedding, they spoiled those photos because they had all the drones come down like a sci-fi movie over her wedding. Even Laura Byrne and Maddie J, when they got married, someone put a air tag on their car, followed them to the wedding venue, and then had like a microphone picking up all of the vows being said and were reporting on it in like real time. And like, they're obviously very famous, but that is insane behavior.
And like when I got married, because I was at E at the time, there was a pap at our church.
Yeah, we were like, hello.
Which I found so weird.
Yeah.
I was like, why do you want, like, I'm not anybody. Why are you here?
No, but people love seeing a wedding photo.
It was so bizarre because I remember getting out of the car and there was a photographer like right outside the church. I was like, I don't book you. Who are you?
Yeah, just an extra photographer on the day.
It was so confusing. And I was like, what are you doing photographing me?
You should have gone to Selena Gomez and put up a tent to walk into the church.
I had zero expectation of that happening. So I was very, very confused by it. But yeah, they people can get pretty intense around weddings. So yes, security was very, very tight. And there was some other drama associated with the actual wedding.
Yes. So a lot of drama started in the build up to the day, and a lot of that was around Selena's mother, Mandy Teefey. Now, she hadn't said anything from what I can tell, but of course, like all of the different tabloids and even some more reputable sources were reporting that Selena and her mother, who are very close, because I think she gave birth to Selena when she was like around 16.
Yeah,
she was a
16,
teenager.
Yeah.
And they've really grown up together and reportedly quite close. But apparently Mandy, and again, this is just I'm not saying this is true, but this is the story that was out there, and it almost overshadowed, like it was the lead story leading into the wedding, which I think is very telling that Selena Gomez, even when she says nothing, posts nothing, does nothing, she is such a lightning rod for drama. Even if she's not instigating it, it's always kind of this kind of like sad story is always wrapped around everything she does. And so people were saying that she and her mum had gotten in a big fight before the wedding because her mum was saying like, I raised you as a single mother, I want to walk you down the aisle, to the point where after the wedding had taken place, Mandy had to not put out a statement, but she obviously put out something saying like she was so happy about the wedding, welcoming Benny into the family, but she made a big note to say that it was her father who had walked Selena down the aisle, and she thought that was really special. And it's almost like she was so aware of how toxic the gossip was about her and her daughter that she had to put that out.
Yeah, so just to clarify, so Selena's grandfather walked her down the aisle. Selena's father, biological father, isn't in the picture. Obviously, Selena was raised by Mandy. Mandy has a new husband now called Steve, I believe. So it was her stepmother, and then it was Mandy's father who walked Selena down the aisle.
Yes.
Which I actually think is very sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
If her father's not in the picture. But I can understand her mum sort of being like, oh, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
But I
don't even know if she did say that.
But yeah, because then afterwards she posted and said, I'm so happy that my dad got to walk her down the aisle. I think I'd be really happy about that.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because we don't know. I think it's just that the fact that there's always like a layer of drama around everything Selena Gomez does. We don't know if her and her mum had like planned that from when she was a little girl. Like she'd always said, you know, I can't relate, but some kids like think of their wedding day. Like maybe that's something that she'd wanted for ages, or maybe it happened in the week prior. I have no idea about that.
One of my favorite like things to watch on TikTok is when people get walked down the aisle. This is like this makes me cry all the time. When like a dad walks their daughter down the aisle and then grabs the stepfather and then invites him to walk her down because like, and then you see people crying. Like those videos, the amount of times I've watched those videos, they just give me like goosebumps.
Yeah, it's very cute.
I mean, I'm happy that she got someone that she loved to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
But Justin Bieber has somehow been brought into this as well.
Yeah, so the two names that are always brought into every single Selena Gomez story that ever goes live, that are always guaranteed to bring some level of drama, is Justin Bieber and Francia. So we'll start with Justin. Yeah. Now, obviously, Justin and Selena dated for a long time when they were kind of children.
Yeah.
Little children.
Their relationship ended in 2018.
Yes. And obviously it was a huge thing because there were these two huge, pop stars at the time. Both like became sort of brands that were even removed from like the kind of fame where it's not just about the person, it's about the brand they have. And they were so kind of public with each other that people got very, very invested in that relationship and have still not let it go. And what I find weird about that is that the people who would have been invested in them at the time and who are still kicking up such a fuss about it now must be women in their 30s and 40s if you look at the age bracket. And I was like, girls, you got to let it go.
I know. So
we must let this go.
The way that this got pulled in is that Justin posted a video on his Instagram of him playing basketball, and the music that he put behind the video was I Do, which is a song that he made about his relationship with Hailey Bieber.
About marriage, yeah. Marriage to Hailey Bieber.
And this is just hours after Selena and Benny got married. So all of these people on Instagram are joining dots and being like, oh, this is a slight, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like comments after comments after comments talking about how you lost her, you lost, she's married now, like get over it. The poor guy just put up a photo. Do you think it was a slight?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. There's 5,000 comments. And I was going to say, they're not about basketball and they're not about music. They're all about, you lost her, you let her go. Yeah. And so many people, again, I don't know if these people are joking. I want to hope they're joking. Otherwise, I have such worry for their state of mind, being like, I thought you'd go to the wedding and stop it. Like, he's married with a child. Yeah. He's not going to run to the wedding and stop it. Like, that's crazy behavior.
2000s rom-com.
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard because in our world, it was so evident that Selena Gomez's wedding was that weekend because there were so many news articles about it. There were so many stories about it. People were posting about it. But so part of me thinks how could you not know that it was your ex's wedding? That is such a big part of your life that people have lined up and booed your current wife or your wife. and yelled out like Selena, and that also Hailey Bieber has gone on like podcasts and had to talk about Selena. They've tried to post photos together to squash these rumors. There's terrible stories out there. Like he would be so aware of how much his wife gets brought into this whole Selena and Justin thing. So like my thought would have been like, why would you just not post it? Just go a whole weekend without posting.
And also
but maybe he didn't know. Maybe he just lives a healthier life than us and he's not online and he had no idea it was Selena Gomez's wedding. Which, I don't know. I don't know the man's mental state. I don't know if he's a scroller on TikTok or he's scrolling the news or anything like that.
But why would you put a song about marriage of you playing
That was
basketball?
the kicker, yeah.
That's wild. I think that's where people were like, this is really weird.
Yeah.
The other coincidence is that people pieced together that the wedding planners of Hailey and Justin's wedding, Reveley and Weiss, actually did Selena and Benny's wedding. So that's an odd coincidence.
Yeah. Although I feel like that with the like that top tier celebs, there's only like one or two people that get trusted with the really high end weddings, but that's still a big coincidence.
I mean, there's plenty of other.
Their world is so small. That's what I think. Once you get to that level of fame and money, like your world is really small.
I was looking at some of the other events that Reveley and Weiss did, and it was also they also did Stormy's second birthday party.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Mindy Weiss is like best friends with a Kardashian, and to be fair, Mindy Weiss does every single celebrity wedding.
Yeah.
I have not seen, except for like the ill-fated Peltz Beckham wedding, I have not seen a celebrity wedding that she hasn't done. So I feel like maybe she is just the person that you call.
Yeah, I know.
That woman must know everything. She must be like a vault, the stuff she would know.
Oh, the amount of NDAs she must have signed.
So many. But also she runs a tight ship. Like just some of the Kardashian weddings she's planned she's been given like a week's notice. And then she'll like plan a whole like spectacular wedding and have like real life swans and like boats of caviar and shut down whole cities. So that woman's like more powerful than Oprah.
Well, she did a very good job with the security because I imagine she would have had a hand in making sure all of that ran really smoothly as well.
Yeah. She knows how. I think she knows how to sort of do it on the down low if that's what they wanted. But yeah, with the Justin thing, I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not as weirdly petty and it's online that he would post that. But also, it's such an odd choice to post.
So odd. And like
the chances of that being a mistake are so low.
Yeah. So, I mean, it feels like a weird coincidence if there wasn't some underhanded thing to it.
Oh, I think at this stage, like, when do we let this like supposed
We're never
going to
let it go.
Well, I mean, I'd love to let it go, but stop posting weird videos about it online and making it. Because again, if he'd said nothing, I think most people, I mean, a lot of people still would have brought Justin Bieber's name up, but I don't think it would have been brought up to the extent of the fact that it's a huge trending headline. Like it's getting as much attention as like her dress and the photos she shared and everything.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
She probably looks at the news cycle and has been like, why do I bother doing anything?
Can you imagine, like, what do you think Hailey would have said? I feel like Hailey would be like, mate, can you just like stop for
just come off
second?
Your phone for a weekend. We could have all got out of this unscathed.
Like
now.
In the same way when she was on the cover of Vogue, where Justin said something inappropriate, I feel like behind the scenes, Hailey is now saying to Justin, why? Why did you have to do that?
Yeah.
Even if you didn't mean it intentionally, like just like don't.
Yeah, it just shows an understanding of the world that they live in. It's like that woman's got 2 children to look after. So speaking of videos that were posted and caused a lot of controversy, the other one came from Francia, who is an actress, but also a really close friend of Selena Gomez. At least that's how we sort of know their relationship. But she is the one who gave Selena Gomez her kidney. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So Selena Gomez had so many health problems and was very, very, very sick, and she desperately needed a kidney transplant. This is many years ago. And she and Francia lived together. They were very, very close. And the way that they've told it, because they gave a few joint interviews afterwards, is that Selena asked Francia to be tested and she was a match. But the way she heard about it was that the doctor called Selena first and said, Francia's a match. And then Selena called her and said, like, was just crying and being like, you're a match, we can do the transplant, which is, it's a sticky situation because obviously that's such a huge thing. And Francia said that she spoke to her social worker afterwards and she already felt like a little bit strange that the call had come from Selena, who'd already been told that she was a match, because it's medical information, instead of the doctor calling her and letting her make the decision of who she wanted to tell and how she wanted to tell that information. But they went through all the counselling and they had their social workers and they went through all the doctor's appointments together. And the big thing that Francia always talked about is that everyone kept saying to her, like, your body's getting something taken away from you, so you're going to really struggle. Whereas with Selena, even though she had like a lot of medical issues after and she was very, very sick, and she still is, she has like publicly said a few times that the kidney transplant changed her life and really allowed her to have a quality of life that she hadn't experienced before. So that story was like really beautiful at the time because, and it still is really beautiful. And the Selena and Francia both shared a photo of them as they were going into the operation. It's them in hospital beds and hospital gowns, all hooked up to machines, and they're holding hands and like smiling each other across these beds. And it's really beautiful. And then like quite a while after, it's sort of these reports started to come out that they weren't friends anymore. They had a falling out, which would kind of be news, but was huge news because of the kidney transplant, which again is such a personal thing to have made public. And then an interview started going quite viral where Selena Gomez was talking about Taylor Swift, and she said, she's my only friend in the industry. And Francia commented on that and said like, oh, wow, like, nice to know, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, but she was pretty much like, well, I'm in the industry and I gave you my kidney. And she was like, okay, good to know. And then Selena commented back, sorry, I didn't mention everyone I've ever met or everyone I've ever known. And so that kind of took off a little bit, and then it kind of did come out that they had a bit of a falling out, which people really blamed Selena for, of being like, she's so ungrateful, she's the worst, like this, she took this woman's kidney, her best friend, now they're not friends anymore. And so that all blew up, even though they've come out since then and sort of said that like things are okay. But the day of the wedding, where I'm going with this about these videos being posted, is that Francia posted like a dancing photo of her in the street with a friend doing like a bit of a bop and a dance. And because she posted it at the same time as the wedding pretty much, the comments, thousands and thousands of comments straight away of like, why aren't you at the wedding? Why aren't you there? I can't believe she didn't invite you. You should have been the maid of honor. Are you posting this to show that you're not there? And then that blew up.
Yeah. So did she confirm that she wasn't there?
She hasn't replied, but that's the thing. It's like, it's hard because part of me is like, maybe she was there, but also, again, it's that whole thing of like, why would Justin Bieber post that video? It's like, if she was there in the middle of the ceremony, why would she post like a dancing video that looks like it's in like a little back alley of a street or something?
I mean, look, I know a lot of people who have very large Instagram followings who don't post things until weeks after they've done them to protect privacy. So they don't post things in real time. So potentially it could have just been something that she had pre-planned to post a week before or whatever, just to give her the benefit of doubt. Because
And like, again, it's this whole thing of like, maybe all these people aren't as attuned to, I know we think they should be, but they're probably like, damned if we do, damned if we don't. Maybe it's not all as insidious as we're making it out. But I just think because for some reason, Selena Gomez is just always the center of this very, very intense drama where people are like on her side or like really against her. It's like Justin Bieber posts a basketball video with a wedding song and everyone's like, he's taking a dig at her. And then Francia posts just a cute dancing video with a friend. But because of the timing, people took it as a real stance that she was saying, I wasn't invited to the wedding, I'm not there, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm living a fun life over here. So, I mean, I don't know. I do think she
far out. I don't know what to feel about this, because I feel like giving someone one of your organs, a kidney, like I can think of very, very few people in my life that I would be willing to do something as big as that for, because it's not just, you've got 2 kidneys, but it is going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So that is something that you do for someone who you really, truly care about and love deeply. Like, that's not just like a blood donation or plasma. Like, it's your kidney.
I know, and that's why this has a whole different level of, usually with like celebrity kind of like feud friendship stories, like I'm so happy to jump in and like give my unsolicited opinion about people I don't know. But because this has such an intense extra layer, it's like we just don't know the situation. So again, maybe she was there, maybe she wasn't, maybe they just don't talk anymore, but they're in a good place. Like it's such a complicated thing. But yeah, it was so strange looking at like every homepage of every kind of news site and entertainment site, and it was like, it's almost like watching how the news cycle around Selena works in real time. It was like, Selena Gomez is married. Her wedding photos are beautiful. Justin Bieber's involved. Francia's involved. Her mum said something bad. It was like this whole kind of train. And I was like, oh, it's just sad that we can't just look at the pretty wedding photos.
I also did hear, though, that part of the security was to potentially take away people's phones.
And I would believe that too.
I would believe it as well. Like I've been to movies where they lock your phone in those, those cases that they lock your phones in.
That always stresses me out because as soon as they lock it, I'm like, did I turn my phone off? Is it going to ring in the movie and I can't open the bag?
I know. I hate those locky things. They're so annoying. But maybe they did something like that, and that was a pre-planned post. So we can't make any judgments on that.
Yeah.
Whether that's true or not, I still adore the photos, and I will be waiting to see more images from the day when people start posting.
Yeah, share more photos, Selena. All I want to do is just scroll through her entire wedding album and just look at all her pretty pictures. That's all I want. It's very soothing.
I want to see photos of the reception. Of
Me too.
Dancing.
Yeah.
And like.
Well, she's probably like, I can't share anything now because you guys ruined it by all these nasty stories about me, and all I did was share a cute photo.
I know, because Steve Martin and Martin Short didn't share any photos. Like, when you go to a wedding,
I would believe that of them though. I don't think they're super online.
I know, but they're so cute. They're like little uncles to her. It's so sweet. But yeah, I just want to see more.